Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. It was a busy day in the T20 World Cup with the warm-up games going on and the qualifiers. Let's just talk about the qualifiers first. The first game was between Netherlands and Namibia, and it was the David Wiese show. A brilliant chase. They chased down 165 with 6 wickets to spare. Wiese scoring 70. He took it upon his hands to chase down the target, and he showed his experience. And yeah, I think South Africa is going to really miss him. Very handy all-rounder, and today he was the main player for Namibia, and he showed that a crucial win for Namibia. Now they're still in the tournament. If they win another game, then there's a possibility of them qualifying. So a big win for them. Congratulations to them for that. It sets it up. Netherlands are out of the tournament. They've lost 2 games in a row, and unfortunately, they didn't show the same shine that they showed in the last T20 World Cup qualifier. But yeah, Namibia. It was the David Wiese show. There's a JJ Smuts there as well, some good experienced players. But when the big players step up, it really makes that win even sweeter. And yeah, credit to him for that. In the other game, Sri Lanka convincing win against Ireland, winning by 70 runs. Another fantastic performance, and Sri Lanka have qualified for the T20 World Cup. It wouldn't have been the same without them. And they've shown that they're still there and they can compete. And at least they can qualify for these competitions, and now it'll be up to them to compete with the big teams and make sure they fight it out. Hasuranga played really well today, and I think he will be a threat. He didn't have a great IPL, but today he showed, especially when he's playing against non-subcontinent teams, like against Australia, England and stuff. I'm sure he's going to trouble them. Today's figures were 4 overs, 12 runs, 1 wicket. Yes, it was against Ireland, but Ireland is a team you can't take easy. They have some good players themselves. They're an experienced team. They've made World Cups in the past. So credit to Sri Lanka. You have to beat whatever is in front of you, and they've done that convincingly. No hiccups, and they are in the T20 World Cup now, finally. And then with the warm-up games, in the morning, there were 2 warm-up games. One was India versus Australia. India winning that convincingly. They chased it down. Rohit Sharma performed really good with the bat, with the ball. You had Ashwin picking up 2 wickets in 2 balls. Jadeja contributed. We saw that Varun Chakravarti and Chahar. It was a good bowling performance by them. And then with the bat, it was an easy chase. Rohit Sharma made it look easy. KL Rahul got off to a good start as well. Surya Kumar looked in good touch. Hardik Pandya came in the last few deliveries, hit a 6. So that's good news for India. But Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar's form will be a pleasing factor, getting some runs under the belt for them. And the interesting in that game was that Rohit Sharma was captain, but Virat Kohli was also fielding. So he's playing under his captaincy. It's good to see that camaraderie, and it shows that Kohli doesn't have an ego. He wanted to try something different. Virat Kohli came in bold as well in this game. And we got to see something different there. And it was nice to watch from that side of things. And like that, like I said, with the ball, Rahul Chahar, a much better performance. 3 over 17 runs, 1 wicket. Ashwin, like I said, even Bhuvneshwar Kumar, very impressive. 4 overs, 27 runs, 1 wicket. Economy of 6.75. He bowled really well. Last ball of the innings, he got hit for a 4. That's something that it's been a habit, but hopefully he'll improve that. Varun Chakravarti was more expensive today. He went for 11.5 economy in his 2 overs. But yeah, good performance for India. From Australia's side of things, Maxwell and Stoinis' innings a big positive. Both in the middle order, they finished it off well, I think, the innings. But just the start, again, David Warner not getting runs, Mitchell Marsh not getting runs, Aaron Finch not getting runs. That's going to be an issue for them. And Steve Smith, he got runs 57 of 48, strike rate a bit slow, but what can he do, right? Like when you have early wickets, he has to stabilize the innings. So it's good to see the middle order performing, but the top order needs to come to the party during that World Cup. And if Australia have a chance in competing and coming into that semi-final spot. And if you look at Australia's bowling, they didn't have too many runs on the board, but everyone had their fair share. They got hit for fair share runs, and it was easy pickings for India in the end. I think convincing win for India. They're looking good now, but normally they do very well in ICC tournaments. Very consistent, but it's about winning those tough games. When they're in a semi-final, or even if it's a group stage, when it's a low-scoring game, or if it's a tight game, they have 20 runs of 10 balls. They're keeping their calm and crossing the line. That's what India will have to see on more than one occasion. They'll probably dominate sides because they're very good. But when it's not their day, then that's where they'll have to grind victories out, I feel. But yeah, that wraps up that India-Australia game. Then there's the 53 of like 18 or 19 deliveries, and yeah, he batted magnificently. David Miller hit a couple of sixes, but it was the Van der Dusen Shore 150 odd deliveries. Fantastic batting for Pakistan. The worry will be their death bowling. Haris Rauf, Hassan Ali giving a lot of runs, especially after Imad Wasim set it up beautifully, picked up a couple of wickets. I felt he was getting his rhythm very nicely. But yeah, the death bowling again letting Pakistan down. I felt Pakistan batted really well today. Fakhar Zaman 50 of 20 odd balls, striking the ball brilliantly. Asif Ali coming into form. That's a huge for Pakistan because he bats at a very good strike rate as well, and he's a proper hitter. Shoaib Malik also getting runs. So batting wise, Pakistan will be confident, but the bowling, especially the death bowling, they set up the game. The game was in their grasp, but they set up the game and they just let it go. And that's something they'll have to work on, because even in the last game against West Indies, they gave, I think Haris Rauf got hit for a few fours against Pollard. I think 4 or 5 fours. So yeah, overall, Pakistan looking a good team. To be honest with you, they're looking a good team. It's just, these mistakes in the death overs under pressure. They'll have to work on these things. Death bowling is something they have to work on. And with the bat as well, make sure they keep striking at a steady rate and make sure everyone has their roles and they play according to their role. Even if there's a mess up, then they have a plan B. Yeah, but credit to Van der Dusen, outstanding. Rabada was also fantastic, picked up 3 wickets. South Africa looking good. Imagine just if they had Faf and even Wise or AB, 2 of these 3 players, they would have been favorites for this World Cup. So yeah, they still, I think they can fight it out in the group. It's a tough group, but they can really fight it out, especially if they get an innings like this from like a Van der Dusen or like a De Kock, then definitely they will compete against teams. And the other, England versus New Zealand, England choking New Zealand in that game. It looked like 160 would look like a par score, but Butler batted really well. I felt Bairstow was looking in good touch, but David Malan looked a bit slow there. That's something might be a worry for England, but I think they bowled magnificently well. Mark Wood, Adil Rashid were fantastic. And New Zealand are having an issue. Conway is not the same Conway we saw in New Zealand. It's a different Conway here. He has to adjust to the pitches. No Williamson today, but they need somebody even in the regular games. There's no Ross Taylor, so someone need to support Williamson and build those partnerships. We don't see that as of now, and that's a bit of a worry. I think the bowling is still good. Ish Sodhi has been brilliant. He bowled well today against England, but that's something that New Zealand will have to work on. But yeah, it's looking good. It shows from the warm-ups, anyone can beat anyone. Couple of teams looking good. India's looking good. England's looking decent. So is Pakistan's looking decent, apart from the slip-up today. But let's see what the tournament brings out. Hopefully we get to see some fantastic cricket. Still, the qualifiers need to finish, and then we'll know exactly what the groups are. And the first game starts on Saturday, so looking forward to that. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for the latest content. Thank you so much for joining me.